6:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Niranjan Abesundara. The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment instructed to use its funds for a task repatriating migrant workers affected by the COVID-19. State Minister Consultant Dr. Sita Aryapala says the aim of her ministry is to provide high-quality vocational education for the youth. The Wages Board will meet tomorrow to provide a daily wage of 1,000 rupees to estate workers. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera emphasized that the government will intervene to control the price of sand. In world news, Tokyo revises the contact tracing strategy to focus on higher risk cases. In world news, sports news, pandemic set to cost top football club billions of pounds. The Committee on Public Enterprises instructed the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment to use its funds for the task repatriating migrant workers affected by the COVID-19. The COPE inquired whether there are any legal impediments to the repatriation of Sri Lankan workers using the Foreign Employment Bureau's current assets of 14 billion rupees. SLBFE chairman informed the COPE there was no obstacle to repatriate foreign workers registered with the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment to Sri Lanka using the funds. This was revealed during a COPE meeting held at the Parliament complex recently. State Minister Consultant Dr. Sita Aryapala said that the aim of the Ministry of Skills Development, Vocational Training and Inventions is to prepare a high-quality vocational education for the youth to be employed in a job which is in high demand in the world. She said that her expectation is to convert the workforce in the country as trained professionals who can bring foreign exchange to the country. Accordingly, steps will be taken to reduce 60% of unskilled youth without a vocational training to 10% in 5 years. She further said it will be reduced to 20% within the first 2 years. She mentioned this while on an observation tour of the NIBM, which is under her ministry. Dr. Aryapala said that they hope to get the assistance of the NIBM for industrial parks that will be established in all districts and the provinces. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said the Wages and Salaries Ordinance Board will meet tomorrow to provide a daily wage of 1,000 rupees to estate workers. During a meeting today, the minister said a decision has to be taken through the Wages Board as the trade union and employers have not come to a consensus on increasing salaries. The cabinet approval has been given yesterday for the increase. Shramavashana scholarship program implemented on behalf of the children of the workers who have become disabled or diseased at work sites while on duty took place at the ministry today. Scholarships to 50 children were given at the function, which was held under the patronage of the minister. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that the government will intervene to control the price of sand. He said that the Presidential Task Force has recommended the government to intervene to control the price of sand. A discussion took place today between the Minister and associates of sand transporters. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said the Technical Services Institution and the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau is engaged in sand distribution. He said arrangements have been made to provide quality sand at a fair price. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa extended greetings to the Mahanayaka of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya, Agamaha Pandita Most Venerable Kodakadama Vasathero, in connection with his 80th birthday, which falls today. The President visited him this morning at Dharmapala Rama Temple in Mount Lavinia. He also took part in the alms-giving offered to 50 monks and presented the commemorative stamp issued in connection with the birthday of the Most Venerable Kodakadama Vasathero. Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa called on the chief monk of the Narahempita Abherama Temple and the Western Province, Chief Tanganayaka Venerable Muruthettuve Anandathero, in connection with his birthday today. A joint statement by the Sri Lanka EU said Sri Lankan government confirmed its intent on revisiting the provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Act with a view to making appropriate amendments. 23rd meeting of the Joint Commission between Sri Lanka and the EU was held via video conference yesterday. The EU also stressed the importance of applying international human rights standards in the fight against terrorism. Sri Lanka looks forward to continuing the counter-terrorism dialogue and security cooperation. Meanwhile, the European Union expressed its strong concerns about Sri Lanka's import restrictions imposed since April 2020, while following the COVID, which has given a negative impact on European businesses. The EU urged Sri Lanka to notify these measures to the World Trade Organization. Sri Lanka has also reaffirmed the commitments made to effectively implement the 27 international conventions covered by the GSP Plus scheme on human and labour rights, environment and good governance. The EU regretted Sri Lanka's withdrawal from its co-sponsorship of the UN Human Rights Council Resolution 30/1 and subsequent resolution that incorporated and built on it. In addition to support for Sri Lanka's COVID-19 response, the working group appraised positively another 3 grants from the European Union worth €35.75 million, which will support Sri Lanka's justice sector, help improve food safety and strengthen the efforts to mitigate climate change. Implementation is planned for 2021 and beyond. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. State Minister Consultant Dr. Sudarshini Fernandes said that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine will be brought down to the country this week. She said the Indian government provided the vaccine on the request from the President. She told a media briefing today in Colombo that trials were conducted at 3 places in connection with the vaccine inoculation. Cabinet approval has been granted to a proposal presented by the Minister of Highway to seek requests for the proposal for the construction of an elevated expressway to Kalnia New Bridge via Rajagiriya, connecting the outer circular highway at Rathuragiriya. The Road Authority has conducted a feasibility study for the proposed project. The project will be implemented with 100% foreign funding under the Build, Operate and Transfer scheme. And that ends local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health confirmed the total count of coronavirus recoveries reported in Sri Lanka has exceeded the 51,000 mark, with 709 more patients being discharged from hospitals following complete recovery from the virus. Total number of recoveries has reached 51,046. Sri Lanka has confirmed a total of 59,167 positive cases of coronavirus so far. 7,834 of them are still under medical care at hospitals and treatment centres. Meanwhile, the country has recorded 287 fatalities following the outbreak of the pandemic. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
On to Watchlight. Agencies affiliated with the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka reported that 1919 had received 1.5 million telephone calls to obtain government information last year. Surbanim Gavaskar, the head of this agency, said 95% of these requirements were successfully met. The Government Information Centre and agencies affiliated to the Information and Communication Technology Agency jointly maintain and provide information of nearly 1,500 services of 300 institutions free of charge in all 3 languages. That came to in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Tokyo revises contact tracing strategy to focus on high-risk cases. Global organizations say seafarers stuck at sea due to coronavirus is a humanitarian crisis. Thousands defy COVID rules in Australia day protests. Tokyo has revised its contact tracing strategy to prioritize outreach to high-risk individuals affected by the coronavirus, according to a letter sent by the Metropolitan Government to public health authorities last week. The change comes as the third wave of the pandemic overwhelmed Japan's public health centers, which handle everything from tests and tracing to finding hospital beds. Experts have warned the country's strategy to trace clusters of cases rather than conduct mass tests could face limits as virus cases surge nationwide. The fate of more than 200,000 seafarers who play a crucial role in keeping global trade flowing is being labelled a humanitarian crisis at sea. More than 300 firms and organizations are urging for them to be treated as key workers so they can return home without risking public health. More than 90% of global trade from household goods to medical supplies is moved by sea. But governments have banned crew from coming ashore amid COVID-19 fears. Several people have been arrested for breaking COVID rules, protesting against the culturally sensitive Australia Day holiday. At least 5 arrests were made in Sydney at a rally attended by around 2,000 people, despite rules limiting the numbers allowed to gather at 500. The day is controversial as it marks the start of Australia's colonisation. Australia Day is celebrated on 26th of January at the anniversary of Britain's first fleet arriving in Sydney in 1788. Branded by its critics as invasion data attacks, annual protest rallies drawing attention to the injustices faced by the indigenous people. And back to the headlines of the world news. Tokyo revises contact tracing strategy to focus on high-risk cases. Globally, organizations say seafarers stuck at sea due to coronavirus is a humanitarian crisis. Thousands defy COVID rules in Australia Day protests. That is world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development news. The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to set up an industrial estate using 100 acres of government land in the Katan Regional Secretariat. This project will facilitate the commencement of industries such as rubber, plastics, pharmaceutical and allied products, electrical and electronic appliances, packaging, value-added agri-products and recycling industries with a focus on apparel and allied products. Ministry of Industries has confirmed the project will generate an investment of around 300,000 million rupees and 11,500 job opportunities. On to sports news. Football. The coronavirus pandemic will cost Europe's 20 richest football clubs over £1.7 billion by the end of this season. Deloitte Football Money League survey found the clubs had already lost around £976 million at the end of extended 2019 season and 2020 season. Barcelona generated more money than any other club in Europe and still had the second largest revenue fall in absolute terms. Tennis news. Top-ranked Novak Djokovic and Rafa Nadal will start their 2021 season on 2nd of February when they lead Serbia and Spain respectively in the team-based ATP Cup ahead of the Australian Open. The top 2 men's players will be joined by world number 3 Dominic Thiem and Russian number 4 Daniil Medvedev on the opening day of the tournament at Melbourne Park. The first test of South Africa tour of Pakistan is played in Karachi today. Batting first, South Africa scored 220. Pakistan with 33 for 4 wickets at the close of play today. On to business news. Despite the turbulences and challenges, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation has closed the year 2020 on a positive note, recording phenomenal revenue growth with exceptional services innovations. State-owned insurer recorded 55.2 billion rupee revenue for the year as marked improvement to 48.6 billion rupees in the year 2019. Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation reported 30% growth in life insurance premium, increasing to 19.2 billion rupees, while general insurance reported 7% growth in premium to 20.1 billion rupees. That is business news. Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The central bank yesterday suspended the licensed commercial banks from entering into forward rate agreements for foreign exchange for 3 months with immediate effect. Forward rate agreements are commonly used derivative instruments in financial markets to hedge one's possible losses from foreign exchange transactions. Importers hedge against possible further depreciation of the rupee against the US dollar, and exporters enter into such agreements to minimize their exposure from the appreciation of the rupee. That is economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And under the weather, Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaraga province and the Golden Mathura districts. A few showers may occur in the eastern Uva provinces. Mainly fair weather will prevail over other parts of the island. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, central and southern provinces during the morning tomorrow. Back to the headlines of the news. Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment instructed to use its funds for the task repatriating migrant workers affected by the COVID-19. State Minister Consultant Dr. Sitharam Epara says aim of her ministry to provide high-quality vocational education for the youth. Wages Board will meet tomorrow to provide a daily wage of 1,000 rupees to estate workers. Minister Mahindra Ambaruweda emphasized that the government will intervene to control the price of sand. In world news, Tokyo revises the contact tracing strategy to focus on high-risk cases. Sports news, pandemic is said to cost top football clubs billions of pounds. That and the news, and back to Victor Raj to keep entertained this Tuesday evening. Over to you, Victor.